What's cracking, everybody? Rose and Maggie here. She's awake this time. Little insomniac didn't want to go to sleep tonight, so... Oh, yeah, you're so happy, aren't you? Oh, my goodness. So she and I are back here once again with y'all to show off another team. This time we're going to be talking about a team from the Master Premier Cup. As you clicked on the thumbnail, you noticed Dragonite was the feature of the team. Dragonite being an amazing closer, it is ranked #1 in this meta for a reason, and we core it with Excadrill because the Steel Dragon core is just too strong. And then we've got a Waterfall Gyarados on the safe swap, my Shundo Gyarados that I caught like 2 minutes before the comm day ended. It was like my most hype catch I've caught ever. So, and then I've got Crunch. Now, I wouldn't mind putting Outrage on this Gyarados, and I also would say that you could also sub out the Dragonite for Chestnut, and you could sub out the Excadrill for a Mamoswine. Those are some substitutions that you could make to make this team function depending on the meta that you're seeing. I've tried it in just about every variation, and it works, and then it doesn't work. And this is going to be the only video that I'm going to be putting out this week, just because I did not have a great... I didn't have a super great time this week given the meta, and I'm just taking some time to, you know, just take a break from my mental health. So, Maggie, you pick your nose. You get your finger out of your nose. So we've got a mirror lead, and what I'll do here is I'll note if the opponent has the best buddy ribbon or not. If they do, I'll throw right away. Or if they don't, I'll throw right away to try and force a CMP. If I know that my opponent has the best buddy ribbon, I will actually swap to catch the drill run on my Gyarados. So I don't know if it happens in this particular video, but that's how I play that lead out. And then my opponent counter swaps with a Garchomp. Now, because of the Rock Slide damage, I will not be able to get more than just a Crunch off, so Outrage wouldn't have mattered here. But because they are running Dragon Tail, I'm assuming they're probably running a Double Ground moveset, as they normally do. And this was not enough for an Outrage even, so they go straight Sand Tomb and they will get Dragon Breath down. And now Dragonite with 2 shields is poised to just clap some cheeks. And as we're going to see, the opponent decides not to shield the Excadrill, and a Waterfall Gyarados comes in. Now, this is a strange swap to some, I understand. What I'm doing here is I have 2 shields, right? I'm preserving what is left of my Dragonite, getting the debuff from the superpower cleared, and I'm just trying to either get the shield off the Gyarados or do some chip damage to Dragon Breath down with 2 shields on my Dragonite. I was just trying to get some use out of the Excadrill before the end of the game. There was no good reason for me to want to stay in there with my Dragonite while it was debuffed. Just decided to make use of the Excadrill and then get a shield there as what was happening. So I can now shield up these Aqua Tails, and I can get up to double Dragon Claw right before they would get to another Aqua Tail, and that's going to be able to allow me to win CMP on this particular charge move, and then be able to take out the Gyarados. That's going to be a good game well played to my opponent. That was a lot closer than it suggests just because they were at that CMP. It was very close. So these games are taking over a few sets, so I don't have my elo or anything. I think I jumped about 100 points with this team before I started falling with it, so it's good. I mean, it's a really stupid strong team. I may not be the best Master League pilot because, as you're all very well aware, I'm fairly new to it. So what I did there was I chipped the Snorlax, and I tried to swap out on my Gyarados on their 13th lick, hoping maybe they were just mashing the superpower button, but they were not, and they saved the energy. But they come up with a Togekiss, and this is why I like Waterfall Gyarados over Dragon Breath, because the Waterfall Gyarados is going to be able to deal with a Fairy swap-in a lot easier than the Dragon Breath. So here I can farm down this Togekiss. Unfortunately, I blind throw an Aqua Tail, thinking that just, oh, maybe they wouldn't come in with this Gyarados here. But they did. They soaked the Aqua Tail. I should have just thrown a Crunch. Probably wasn't the smarter thing to do there, but either way, it's fine. Yeah? 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 You're so cute, Maggie. So, I'm going to let this go. I don't think my opponent had enough for the Outrage here. They didn't. Just threw a Crunch, which is fine. And then I anticipated them to do a combo play after landing that, and I swap in to catch the Body Slam on my Excadrill. I didn't actually think I had that battle in. So typically when it comes to Snorlax leads, I forgot to mention at the beginning of the battle, I like to chip it with a move on Excadrill, just to kind of help alleviate the amount of bulk that Snorlax has. And at this point, if it's going to throw superpower, it's fine with me. If they want to bait, sucks to be them. Either way, they're going to either get debuffed and not make it to another move, or they're not going to be able to KO my Excadrill and have to throw another move anyway. And now all I have to do is get to 2 Dragon Claws and take out the opponent's Gyarados, and they surrender. So next game up, we've got Excadrill against Togekiss. Very good lead, but you have to be careful now because, I mean, you had to be careful before because they had Flamethrower. But they have Aura Sphere. And so whenever I get a Dragonite save swap, what I do, because apparently this person assumes I don't have a Florges or anything, which I do, I just didn't play it in this team. I usually like to land a Rock Slide onto the opponent's Dragonite before swapping in my own Dragonite to guarantee that I get Switch. But I have to do it in such a way that... What are you doing? I have to do it in such a way that prevents my opponent's Togekiss from getting too much farm. So in this case, it works out because they get me down into the deep red. And because that they were just a little bit behind on HP and behind on a shield against my Dragonite when it came in, it allowed me to farm them down with a little bit of HP left over. And, I mean, I'm going to throw a superpower for some chip damage, but ultimately it really doesn't matter. My goal here is just to debuff myself so that they get less farm. And then they're going to come up with a Waterfall Gyarados, and this is really awkward. Because I essentially have to keep this off my Excadrill, but I also have to make sure that my opponent doesn't get too much farm on their Togekiss. So this is kind of really awkward for me. So what I'm going to look to do here is I'm going to look to just keep farming. I figure my opponent might be looking to throw an Outrage or something. But what my opponent actually does here is they decide not to throw a move whatsoever. And that's actually really smart by them because what that's going to enable them to do is get a ton of farm on their Togekiss, which is exactly what they needed in order to get to this charge move. So what I need to do is just, at this point, I'm literally just hoping and praying I get to this Rock Slide before they get to Aura Sphere or Flamethrower. And thankfully, Rock Slide is going to get, or we're going to get to the Rock Slide, I should say. She's distracting me so much. I missed this. We're going to be able to get to the Rock Slide move right before they get to a Aura Sphere or Flamethrower and take them out. So a positive but not so great lead here. Excadrill only does good here in the short term. Ultimately, what I need to figure out a way to do here is how to get a shield or somehow, somehow get the opponent... Oh, this sucked. I remember this battle. Somehow get that Dragonite into a range where I can KO it with something. Now, the reason why I don't bring in my Gyarados is because it has Waterfall. You're so goofy. And my opponent comes in with an Avalugg, and that just sucks. Like, I don't see a lot of Avalugg unless it's on my Dragonite. Like, everybody, my opponents are so good at matching that up. But, so they've got a lot of energy, and now what I have to do is I come in with my Excadrill, and now you're just being silly. You're just being silly. I'm going to come with my Excadrill. They are throwing an Earthquake. I didn't even know this thing had Earthquake. I assumed that was going to be like an Avalanche or something. But I have to figure that's probably all of their energy. And I know that they typically like to run Body Slam as a bait. So, because that was fairly quick, I let that go. And then I'm going to throw Rock Slides into the Avalugg. Because falling asleep. These kids woke me up at like 7 this morning. So, forgive me. It's almost 10 o'clock and I'm already ready to go to bed, dude. I'm going to go for Rock Slides against the Dragonite here. And then we've got a Waterfall Gyarados against their Metagross, and this is basically a good game because I have Crunch, I have Aqua Tail, and we're looking really good here. I don't have to shield the first move because it's typically going to be a Meteor Mash. And even if it's a Psychic, I don't really care. The reason why is because I have run the Psychic. It does hurt, but it doesn't hurt enough for me to need to shield it, and I'm safely going to be able to get to the Crunch here before the opponent is going to be able to get to any 2 more moves that would KO me here. Let them go for their Meteor Mash, and then I'm going to go for the Crunch to secure the KO. I'm not going to play around with the Aqua Tail. Get you in your cute little pajamas. Get your finger out of your mouth. Don't grab me. Ah! Ah! So here we go again. So once again, just to reiterate, I like to play this out such that I get to the Rock Slide before they get to their superpower. My opponent tries to catch a Rock Slide, and they fail at it, unfortunately for them. So what I'm going to do here is I am actually going to come in with my Dragonite after throwing this Drill Run, and then that's going to allow me to guarantee that I'm going to get Switch Advantage and hopefully be able to farm this Ursaluna down. I'm going to assume that because it's not purified, it has Thunder Punch or Fire Punch and high horsepower. Some of them have been packing Fire Punch for the Chestnuts lately, so I respect that. So I'm going to actually let this go, and I'm assuming at this point that I can just farm down. And all this energy is now going to get thrown into their Dragonite if they come in with it, or if they come in with the Excadrill that I likely think isn't back because they have a Dragonite and they safe swapped in an Ursaluna. I'm going to assume at this point they've probably got an Excadrill in the back, so I'm going to just go for the Dragon Claws here against their Dragonite, and because they have Dragon Tail, that's going to absolutely clap my cheeks off after I throw this one, but thankfully I was able to get to 2 and put this thing into a range where it's going to go down. Now I'm going to come with my Gyarados because they're either going to throw Dragon Claw or Superpower. And if they threw the Dragon Claw, either way, it's not going to do a lot of damage. But unfortunately for me, they don't, I don't get my Waterfall through on that, but they come in with an Excadrill, they top left because they know they lost. Waterfall Gyarados is unfortunate. Now Mamoswine is unfortunate. I love Mamoswine so much. It was like one of the first things I ever built for Master Classic. And we had just had that Swinub Community Day. Thankfully, I've packed enough XLs away from the last 2 holiday events to have enough to build mine, so I've got it done already. This is still, like, it's such a fun pick, Mamoswine. And unfortunately, whenever I play it, I find every person running Waterfall Gyarados, every Metagross, everything that just completely claps the cheeks off of my Mamoswine. So it becomes a very depressing thing for me. Master League Premier is just such an RPS league, and I do hate it. But I decide to let that go. And I think that what I've done afterwards, after this game specifically, was I've just started to play out the 2 shield scenario and then force them to throw their energy. They come in with a Dragon Breath Gyarados, and at this point, like, my entire team is practically hard countered. I'm going to go for this crunch here, hoping maybe for a defense debuff, swapping into my Dragonite, and I'm just going to pray and hope that something can happen. They've probably got a crunch. They're going to throw it. I don't feel like I can shield it, but I can't. And then I have a Metagross. I'm like, well, I could technically make something happen here. You are just a squirmy wormy right now, aren't you? You just want to get down, don't you? You have to stay here. Your adoring fans need to see you. It's been a while. You have to stay here. You have to stay here. Going for as many superpowers as I can throw into this Metagross to get rid of it. But then my opponent's just going to come with their Gyarados, and that's it. So, not going to be able to even really come close to this. My opponent had me basically from back to front, and I played it out wrong anyway, so. Well done to my opponent. They completely destroyed my face. So we've got a Magnezone, a dream lead here for the Excadrill. Honestly, not even terrible for the rest of my team, but I do stay in here to chip this Gyarados, and the reason why I do that is to guarantee that I'm going to get my switch advantage here by coming in with my own Gyarados. I have started to not come in with the Dragonite against some Waterfall Gyarados safe swaps because I feel like they're trying to lure out my Dragonite, and I always end up losing to something in the back that I wish I had my Dragonite for, like a freaking, it always ends up being like Chestnut or something, you know? Every time. So, I'm going to go, they come with the Magnezone. I'm going to throw as many Aqua Tails as I can. I think I have 2 loaded, but I'm just going to throw 1 here, hope they didn't get their fast move through. And they come in with Excadrill to catch. Now they're running ABA Steel, and this is a weird thing to me. My opponent is going to get the farm down with the Excadrill, but, yeah, I don't know. I'm going to probably come in with my Excadrill here just to force them to throw. And then what I'm looking to do here is I'm going to look to get a shield off of my opponent. Now what happens here, if I can make it happen, is I'm going to go for Drill Run, sure. And because their Drill Run's coming up, I look to catch the Drill Run on my Dragonite. This will allow me to farm down and then threaten superpowers. They were throwing as soon as they were getting their Drill Run, so I took a gamble there to just try and get the opponent to dump their energy on. Well, I didn't try to get them. I was banking on the fact that they would dump their energy at the exact same moment that I anticipated when I counted to 5. You are so distracting. I cannot do this with you grabbing my face like this. Oh, okay, Maggie. Goodness gracious, girl. Are you having fun? Yeah, you're smiling and laughing about it. You're having a great time. Oh, okay. Anyway, as you probably saw, the Excadrill came in and farmed down the Magnezone, and that was a good one. Into the next game, we've got a Metagross, another great lead. I love when I see Metagross leads with Excadrill. It makes me so warm and fuzzy inside. My opponent comes in with a Garchomp running Dragon Tail, so I stay in and I throw a Drill Run in order to chip the Garchomp's health or get a shield, which they decided to just let it go. And then I tried to catch a Sand Tomb on my Gyarados, but it didn't go so well. So my opponent instead is going to throw an Outrage, which hurts a lot. So I'm going to go for an Aqua Tail here, hoping to at least get shield advantage, if not anything else. My opponent does shield up, so this is going to net me shield advantage. We get one more Aqua Tail, or one more Waterfall through, rather. And I'm going to commit to the hard farm down with Excadrill. My opponent is running Outrage, so I assume they're probably running Earth Power, but they're running Sand Tomb Outrage. But because they threw the energy and it takes a bit longer to get to those moves, they can farm down, and they have a Swampert in back. Now, having the Swampert aligned to my my Excadrill, having the Metagross aligned to my Dragonite is normally not a great thing. So this is going to be an interesting way I play this out here. So what I'm looking to do here is making sure that I'm keeping track of the energy on that Swampert. Now I'm being distracted by a little baby child here, and I don't remember exactly how much energy that Swampert had when it went out, but I was keeping track of it when I was playing this game. And so I essentially just need to get to 2 drill runs here and throw them, and my opponent loses CMP because they're running Swampert, and I get to the drill run at the same time that they get to their back-to-back Hydro Cannon, so I will win CMP on this next Hydro Cannon, and that is going to be able to take out the Excadrill! Excadrill is going to take out the Swampert, sorry. Swampert! It's going to be a good game. Alright, we got, I think, 2 more battles in this one for you. So another Mamoswine lead. This might be after I wisened up and started playing it the right way. This lead sucks, honestly. I just throw my energy here. I'm trying to get this Mamoswine to give me its shields. I could live in Avalanche if they decide to go up to the high horsepower. I have to respect it. Because at this point, like, yes, I could farm up with my Gyarados. And they go straight for the high horsepower, which immediately means that I can win this matchup. By not baiting, my opponent opens up the opportunity for me to get another drill run in because they didn't go for the Avalanches. Now, if you're playing this matchup, you should build up to the high horsepower, but go straight Avalanche. Avalanche will KO after the Powder Snows if you have gotten this far into the matchup, right? So you can see that I've double shielded by that point, and Avalanche would have more than KO. You are just an absolute squirm fest over here. My opponent comes in with a Dragonite, and I am going to go ahead and throw a Rock Slide to chip it. I know that I can live this Dragon Claw. My opponent could totally come back in with that Mamoswine at some point, but I'm not even paying attention. I don't know if Mamoswine or the Dragonite, but anyway, they come with a Gholdengo, and I've got answers for the Gholdengo. I have to pay attention now. Be very careful. So I'm going to go for the Dragon Claws here. Both moves are resisted. Gholdengo, a new addition to the Master Premier Cup. Very interesting Pokemon. Wish I had one ready. I'm working on it, but I don't have quite ready yet. Won't be ready till next season, most likely. So I come in with Excadrill to force them to throw their energy, and then I'm looking to farm down with Gyarados. Because I know that my Gyarados can tank a Shadow Ball, and they're either running Dazzling Gleam or they're running Focus Blast. Neither one of which will KO my Gyarados. So they come in with the Dragonite here, and I have to throw because I'm afraid they're going to get to another move or farm me down. So now it's just a matter of, can I farm down the Gholdengo before it gets to the second Shadow Ball? Yes, we can, because it's less than 5, and they needed 5 to get to the Shadow Ball. So we get a Dream lead here in the next match, in the final match here with the Metagross lead. Opponent immediately swaps into Goodra. I stay in. That's one of the most beneficial things about having something like Excadrill in this team on the lead, is it's just so good at applying damage and pressure with its coverage and how quickly it gets to moves. Now, I assume this is just a Muddy Water, and I know that's not going to hurt me that bad, so that's why I stay in and tank that move. My opponent is going to get to another move here, but it was just, like, I've played Goodra before. I kind of am familiar with the counts. That was way too quick for anything else other than a Muddy Water, so I let it go. And then my opponent will come back in with their Metagross and attempt to try and farm me down here, probably. But I'm going to go for some superpowers, because those will do some good damage here. Even resisted damage from Dragonite, like, that stuff still hurts. The Dragonite is an absolute force. So I'm going to go for another superpower here, debuffing myself to give my opponent a little bit less farm. They will come out of this with quite a bit of energy. Oh, almost get to the Dragon Claw for a little bit extra damage. But I do believe I come in here with my Gyarados to absorb the energy from the Metagross, and then just kind of see what happens from there. Now, remembering that my opponent had a... this is a very similar team to what I had. They have Goodra on the safe swap instead of a Garchomp, but I was running the Metagross hack. I miss my Haxorus, to be honest with you. I go for an Aqua Tail bait here. And I get it. And I'm thankful for it. Because they have 2 shields, I figured they were likely to go for a bait. And I go for a swap catch here to try and catch a Night Slash. Doesn't KO, and I'm hoping I live 1 counter, and I do, thankfully. And because I live that 1 counter, I'm able to get this Drone off, which should get the other shield from the Haxorus. They take me out. I'm 2 away from the Crunch, able to get almost to the Crunch, but I have a shield. Crunch is not going to be enough to KO here, though. I'm trying to be very careful of a potential catch at this point, which they do, but I'm forced... What? Baby girl, don't get upset at me. You don't want to go to bed. If you want to go to bed, we go to bed. Anyway, I had to throw the energy because I think they were close to a move after all the farm they were getting. So I decided to throw the Aqua Tail, but able to get to that Crunch. It was so much more impressive in person when I was playing the battle, because I know that they were like 1 counter away at that time from that Night Slash to KO. But anyway, that was a super strong team for the Master Premier Cup. Team has been up and down for me. I'm not doing great Master Premier, so I'm hoping that I can make something happen. I'm still sitting in the Expert Elo range, so I'm hoping to make something happen after really kind of just having to not play as much due to work. So, looking to see you guys next week. Again, this is the only video we're doing this week, so hit me up on the Metafy link in the description if you're looking for any coaching. And if you want to join the Patreon server to join one of the best groups of battlers and just PvP players in general, and a great place to get insider tips, tricks, strategies, and meta-analysis before any of it goes on live or goes on YouTube or goes live. Check out the Patreon link in the description. Tons of perks on my Discord, and it's just one of the best places to be as a battler. So with that being said, we are going to catch you guys in the next video. Y'all have a great week, and yeah. Oh, okay, my face. All right, we're gonna go now. Bye. Catch you guys in the next one.